Okay, here we go. We're back for our third week of Magic 8 Ball Pick'em with our two college experts. If you want to join and you think you have the expertise, what it takes, go ahead and message us through Instagram. Information is down there right below, but take a look at it and see if you want to join us and go up against our college experts. These college students are majoring in some type of communication or broadcasting, so they're using this, not only taking their expertise in college and sharing it with you each week, but George, I mean, you're sharing a lot. I mean, you might want to see if you can't start getting some commissions. 68% on between head to head and against the spread the first 2 weeks. How are you doing it?
I don't know. I sports bet a lot. Probably shouldn't say that, but I do follow college football a lot, and something I love enjoyed doing, and liked it ever since I was a little kid. So this is right up my alley.
JT, last couple of weeks, you kind of got smacked just a little bit. You have that game right to the end. You're looking good. You backed Wazoo. They end up faltering down the stretch there, 4 or 5 turnovers. Duke killed you the week before. But we got a pretty interesting slate this week. And I'm going to tell you, George, though, I think you baited the 8 ball. The 8 ball, he reserved his skillet slap because you slapped him pretty good with throwing that bonus game in and saying you like Kentucky and then picking Georgia. Georgia took Kentucky to the woodshed. So,
Yep, they did.
but let's get to it, guys. So we got again, we're going to go. Each one of you makes 2 picks, head to head and against the spread. Okay, and I want to thank DraftKings for providing us the lines. DraftKings, we got their logo on there now. They're providing us the lines each week. So we continue to use their lines, and those are lines as of today. So, George, since you're Mr. 68%, we're going to go ahead and start with you. You got Tennessee hosting the Aggies of Texas A&M. A&M made it look interesting last week. They don't step out on the 2. We might be talking a totally different Aggie team this week.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I thought last week's game with A&M, they played very well. They did. They held Alabama, but Alabama just overpowered them. That was Jalen Milroe's best offensive game, and it was one of our best defensive games. But this game against Tennessee, I'll tell you, Tennessee's always been up there. It's in Neyland Stadium. A&M's got a hell of a defense, but I'm gonna have to. I hate playing this, but
So you're
I
taking
hate I hate playing that. It's one of my least favorites in the SEC. But I'm gonna go Tennessee both ways here. I just think it's gonna be too much for A&M to go into Neyland and play them. So I think it's gonna be a good game though. But I'm taking Tennessee both ways.
Tennessee both ways. Okay, JT.
Mike, there's actually a huge Braves crowd up here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Fun fact. But I do agree with George. I think Tennessee's going to overpower Texas A&M on this one. Also, I don't know if you remember, but I think one of the biggest problems happened last weekend was coaching with Texas A&M. I believe there was less than 10 minutes to go, and Jimbo was 4th and 1, and he went with it. He punted the ball. And Texas A&M had held the game the entire time. They were leading, and then Alabama marched for 80 yards down the field, and they did not lead the entire rest of the game. So I think Jimbo has to get his head straight for this game if he wants to win. But I'm going to get Tennessee outright and covers the spread.
All right, so you guys like them both ways, and I'll tell you, George, you agree with them on that? You're an Alabama fan. You're down there in Tuscaloosa. The percentages say if you're playing true analytics, you probably punt there at home. Your defense, and you got Jalen Milrose, but it's kind of like that age-old thing. Do you kick it away when you got 3 timeouts and hope you get the ball back, or do you go for the onside kick? So do you think Jimbo bungled that one?
I'm not really sure. If you take away that penalty on the blocked field goal, we go up big right there. I just don't know if he's going to have that same mindset. But to beat Bama, you got to go for it. And multiple people have done that, and you look at past, and that's how you beat Alabama. So I think he kind of screwed that one up a little bit, but they played a great game. You can't discredit them. Only 6-point loss at home to a questionable Alabama team. They played a hell of a game.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll tell you right now, here we go. The 8 ball's shaking, and he's got Tennessee on the head-to-head. He likes Tennessee head-to-head. Okay, a lot of close lines this week. But he thinks it's going to be less than 3 because he just popped up the Aggies logo up there too. So he is going to Aggies against the spread. He thinks the Aggies will cover the 3. Again, I had to see so many even lines here, not a 3.5 there, but a 3-point line. But I think the eight balls, they're predicting some close matchups this week. So you guys are both going double dipping on Tennessee. Eight ball says not so fast, my friends. He's got Tennessee winning it outright, but he thinks A&M covers. Okay. Next, and Oregon and Washington. Washington's been electric out there. You start to hear some rumors of Michael Penix for the Heisman. You got Bo Nix, Alabama product up there at Oregon, who just absolutely loves to play in games like this. So, JT, give us your head-to-head and against the spread. Washington, Oregon, and that's a minus. The Huskies favored by 3.
This is my game of the weekend. I'm super pumped for this one. If Oregon wants to win at Washington, they're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Michael Penix. They have a very efficient offense. And you're right, Michael Penix, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks, I think, in college football right now. Also, Washington O-line is really good. They've only allowed 3 sacks this season, and that's pretty big. And Oregon also has a great defense, and not to mention, right, Bo Nix, he's here to play. He loves these games, but I do think Washington at home, they're going to win and they're going to cover their spread.
Wow, JT double dipping. Is he right, George, or is it a not so fast skillet, my friend?
I'm gonna have to hold fast on that one. I love Washington. I think they're a great team. Their quarterback is absolutely absurdly good. O line's great. I mean, giving up 3 sacks this entire season. That's unheard of. You don't do that. And I mean, they're playing some really good football, but I think Oregon's playing a little bit better. I just think they've also played in a big time game. They know what to expect walking into Washington. And I'm taking Oregon +3, and I'm going to take Oregon money line.
Wow.
I just think they're wearing those Oreo colored jerseys. I like to call them. They have another name, but I think that's going to be a cool look. And I think they're going to walk out there with a chip on their shoulder and just score, keep scoring, keep scoring. It's going to be a high scoring game, but I'm taking Oregon.
Like an Oregon, that's a solid pick. A little risky on the road, but again, Oregon shows up for those games, and I think
They do,
again
and
until you see again, I think last year when Washington had the game that everybody was looking to see what they showed up for was against Michigan State, and I
right.
think they got drilled. So I think the question remains: can Oregon or Washington show up? But the eight ball says yes, Washington will show up in the head-to-head. He likes Washington, but predicting another close one. He just popped up Oregon for against the spread. So again, this is another 3-point line. So eight ball sitting there saying these are going to be 1-2 point games worth watching. Um, so all right, I don't think anybody's reeling right now more than Notre Dame. I mean, a couple of tough, and then again, you almost saw it coming. I mean, I don't know if anybody really was going to sit there and say I could predict Louisville's going to win, but I mean, what is this now? 4 straight just high intensity matchups for the Irish. Now, fortunately, they do get this one at home. I'm a little surprised that they're a 2.5 point favorite, but I think you go back and look at what USC's done, George. USC can't close. They couldn't
They
close
can't.
against Colorado. They couldn't close against Arizona. I mean, they get lucky, and I mean, they probably should have. I wouldn't say the Colorado game, but they were lucky to get Arizona out of Arizona last week with a win. Will they get out of Notre Dame, South Bend with a win this week?
I want to say yes and no. This is a tough game for me. I love what Notre Dame's doing. I love Sam Hartman. I just don't know if they can get it offensively done to keep up with USC's high scoring offense. I know USC doesn't have a great defense necessarily, but Notre Dame is worn down. Like, I mean, 4 primetime games in a row, that takes a toll on a team. Middle of the season, you're getting close to the end. I think it's going to be – this is my toss-up game for the week, but, I would have to take USC +2.5 and USC money line.
So
I
you're
just
taking
don't think they
USC,
can
but
– yep, I don't think they can stop Caleb Williams. Notre Dame, I mean, they're just beat down, in my opinion. They've had 4 really tough games, and I just don't know if they can get the job done. And we'll see this weekend, but I think this is the primetime game of the weekend. As per usual, it involves Notre Dame. So,
yeah.
yeah.
JT,
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised as well with Notre Dame being favored. But I mean, I could see why. Great football team, Sam Hartman leading the charge. But they have had some tough losses. I think it's gonna be just a battle between the quarterbacks. They're gonna air the ball out over and over and over again, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a game with 80+ points. Um,
Yeah.
but I do think USC is going to go in and win and cover.
You
The
do? You
spread.
think so? You got USC times 2, and so does George, huh? So USC times 2. You both think USC goes in on the road. Now, can one of you guys, little trivia question, what do they play for?
Oh, what is it? What I know this. What is it?
The
Oh,
shillelagh, and they put a
that,
stone
yeah.
on there, either an emerald if Notre Dame
Yep.
wins, or and it's it's a stick, but there's something Irish with it. But I'll tell you what, the 8 ball says not so fast, my friends, because he likes Notre Dame head to head. Okay, and he's going Notre Dame head to head. So ask again later. He came back with an ask again later. I'm not so sure about that. And against the spread, he's double dipping on Notre Dame. He thinks Notre Dame gets it done at home. Again, it's a tough place to play, and it's a night game, and it's in South Bend, and you got the Notre Dame Broadcast Network, also known as NBC, there. So,
Supposed to
that'll
rain
be
as
interesting.
well.
It's supposed to rain
Supposed
as
to
well.
rain.
There,
So
JT.
we'll see.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying we'll see. I mean, I saw a video this week on Twitter. It was either Twitter or Instagram, but USC was practicing for the rain. They had water bottle squirters out in the punt returner's face when they look up when the rain hits them. So I thought that was pretty cool. But we'll see. High scoring game
Remember,
for sure.
Remember years ago when Charlie Weiss was coach there, and it was Pete Carroll, and they had Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and
Yep.
that whole crowd, and they had let the grass grow up to like 2 feet tall
Yeah.
to slow them down. And again, they almost get it out, but that was the Bush push, when he pushed
Yep.
Matt Leinart into the end zone. All right, JT, it's going to be seismic. But first, George, I got to come to you on this, JT, because you'll get to pick first. But George, how again? I ask you this every week. I got no words. Somebody's going to get the no word skillet on this. How's Mario Cristobal, just because he owned it and not taking more heat over not taking a knee there? ACC comes out and says it's the right call. I mean, too many guys, you do see guys try to run it, but I guess it just goes to show, hold yourself accountable, which he did, and you won't get the grief, right?
I mean, I don't know where the ACC is talking about this is the right call, because it's absolutely not. If I had a skillet in my hand, I'd smack Mario Cristobal in the face. You just don't do that. You kneel the ball, you get it under 30 seconds. The clock in college football starts at 30 seconds. Georgia Tech had no timeouts, nothing. I mean, you walk away with an easy win and you just kneel the freaking football. And they didn't do it. It's situational football. I mean, I don't know. That was some terrible play calling in my part. But also, as a running back, you got to hold on to the football. In a situation like that, every single player on that defense is going to come straight at that football. Hold on to it. Just fall down. All you need is a few yards. Just fall down. So
But you want
it
to take
was a
it,
terrible call.
JT, you take it there. And I mean, I think George leaves no gray area how he feels about what should have happened there at the end of the game. But how do you not have a guy back on the goal line, even too? I mean, how does he even get behind the defense? I mean, how does the guy get behind the defense in that? And, the reason I bring this up, I don't want to bash Miami because, again, I do have some respect for Mario Cristobal actually taking accountability. A lot of coaches don't do that these days. He took accountability for it, but can Miami recover from that and come into a hostile North Carolina environment where Drake May is playing phenomenal? And again, he's been playing phenomenal, very quiet because they are doing it with a balanced offense. But JT, break it down. It's a 3.5-point North Carolina favorite at home. Tar Heels versus Miami. Give us your head-to-head and against the spread.
Yes, last week was a brutal one for Miami, but just like I think any good football team, they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to come here to play. But as you said, Drake May is doing good things in North Carolina, and Tez Walker is back. Tez Walker is back. He's ready to play. I think North Carolina is a really good team. They're going to win, but I think it's going to come down to a field goal. So I won't double dip.
So you're going to go North Carolina on the head-to-head and Miami against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. And, and what people don't remember too these days, George, and again, it gets back to that Notre Dame line is, nowadays, these lines with them being so close and you see a 2-point, you might as well say, well, it's a head-to-head. But if you go into overtime and you got to do the 2-point conversion, you don't get it. There's your 2 points right there.
Yep,
So
exactly.
that's where these 2 and 3, and I think that's where now you see Vegas play into that overtime
Yeah.
scenario a little bit more, and that's why you see some of these lines a little bit closer. Maybe we get somebody from DraftKings on one day to talk about that with us. But JT says North Carolina wins it, but they don't cover the 2 or 3.5. What do you think?
It's a tough one, but I'm going to go with the baby blue. I'm going to go in North Carolina both ways. I just think Drake May is playing phenomenal. He's a hard quarterback to, you know, play defense against. And I just don't know if Miami's going to be able to get it done up there. I know that crowd's going to be fired up. I'm going to take them both ways. I think North Carolina's going to walk away with the signature win right here, as they should. And yeah, I think they're going to play a phenomenal game. It's going to be great atmosphere. This is definitely ACC game of the week for sure.
Wow. Well, I definitely think it's the ACC. It could just be the game of the week, but I think it all is going to come down to what Miami does and how they respond. Do they come out fired up based off that loss, or do they have a
Right.
hangover from it? So, well, the 8 ball JT, he likes what you think. He thinks head to head, North Carolina's going to do it. So he's going with them. All right. But now, and he also agrees with you, JT. He thinks it's going to come down to a field goal, and that half a point's going to matter. He thinks that North Carolina's going to win it by a field goal, which sometimes is Mac Brown style. So you got a split. You got a split pick there with the 8 ball. All right, final one for you. I don't know who wants to pick this, George. Since you played Rocky Top, I'll let JT start off with the War Damn Eagle. But you got Auburn on down and in Baton Rouge for the traditional rivalry game. Auburn played Georgia tough 2 weeks ago. Is that the real Georgia? Is that the real Auburn team, or do they not? Can they do that on the road? What do you think?
I think
Uh,
this line is kind of steep. I think 12 and it's still at 12 and a half, George.
it's down to 11 and a half. Moved down to 11
Okay,
and a
down
half.
to 11. For me, I'm probably putting that between. I think that's going to be like a touchdown. Honestly, I think Auburn. They're 3-2, nothing too hot, but you got to keep in mind, do have a new coach, trying to turn the program around. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll win, but I do think that game is going to be really, really, really close. I'm going to take LSU. Take LSU outright. Auburn not cover the spread though.
All right, so you got LSU, got a split pick there. LSU
Yeah, split.
to win it and Auburn to cover the spread. Now, George, let me ask you a little bit about Hugh Freeze real quick, just to get your thoughts here. And I know because even though we're about picking, we're also I think Hugh Freeze, and I've never been a huge Hugh Freeze guy, and of course, being I'm with you, Roll Tide all the way, but I think he's done a phenomenal job coaching this team already, managing expectations, setting the bar where it needs to be. Basically when they don't do what they need to do, he holds himself, the team accountable. And I think he's
Right.
done a pretty good job setting the expectation and being realistic. And I think by doing that, his team has been able to focus on football and not necessarily on some of the ancillary things that you see in the drama that floats around outside of football, Auburn versus Alabama and stuff like that. So, I think Auburn's going to sneak up on somebody. Do they do it against LSU this week?
I don't think so. I mean, Death Valley is a hard place to play. And granted, Auburn's played some fantastic football this year. They've kept Georgia close. And I mean, I'm going to take Auburn spread just because I think that it's going to be a close game. They always play LSU close. It's always a grit battle between them. But I think Jaden Daniels is just playing too well. Auburn doesn't have the defense to be able to stop him in the offense. So I'm going to take LSU money line and Auburn spread. But it's going to be a good game, really good game, and I think this game will show a lot about Auburn's football team this year for sure.
Well, I know you got some connections and some friends down there. I think they played LSU, George. So have you called down there and told them that they can tell Brian Kelly that they can let the defense off the bus?
I haven't. I've talked to some of them recently. They think they're going to walk out of Death Valley with a win. So
All
they're a
right.
little high-headed right now. But
Well, let's see.
I have
Let's
one more
hold
with
on.
the
I
eight
got you.
ball.
Got to get. You're not going to let the 8 ball pick. You think just
I
because you're
want the eight
dominating
ball
the
to
8 ball,
pick.
you're at 68%, but the 8 ball says not so fast, my friend. And the 8 ball first one that comes up is Auburn. So that he must be going against the spread with Auburn there. So I think he went backwards on this one. So he goes Auburn against the spread. Okay. So I'm going to shake him again here. He goes Auburn straight up 2 times. He's going Auburn straight up. The 8 ball is picking the upset, the 12-point underdog. The 8 ball likes Auburn both ways. He says not so fast to both of you. He's got no words for you, JT. Actually,
Whatever.
you made so. Hey, by the way, JT, first and foremost, forgot to tell you, what are you, 16 today? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
19 years old today. Thanks, guys.
19 years old today. That's good. Did
There
they
we
give you the
go.
day off
Yeah.
running? So All right,
Yep.
George, you always got something extra. Give us your give us the George,
Oh, hey,
the
All right.
King of the Hill. Hold on,
hey,
I'm
I'm
gonna
raising
go
my
with you.
hand.
I'm gonna go with him. The King of the Hill bonus pick first, and then you get to go next, JT.
Okay.
All right. So I know I said Missouri last week in the bonus game. My bonus game this week is Missouri, Kentucky. That's going to be a grudge match. Missouri played phenomenal against LSU last week, except the end. They kind of gave it up. But this is, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Kentucky's only -2, and they're at home. I think Kentucky's going to walk away with this one, -2. And I think money line too for Kentucky. But those are two very solid ball squads,
So
and
Kentucky's your
they know
bonus.
what's
You're going
up.
to Kentucky over Missouri. That's your bonus. So you're going Kentucky straight up and Kentucky against the spread. They're in Kentucky's -2. That's your bonus pick.
Kentucky's -2.5. Yep.
-2.5. All right, there you go. What you got, JT? What you got for you fans out there?
So I'm not gonna lie, George stole my pick. I was actually gonna throw that game out there myself, but I was looking at it and actually found another West Coast matchup: UCLA, Oregon State.
Oh,
Very
yes,
good.
that
That's
game's gonna
going
be
to be a
very
really
good.
good game. Both really good teams. UCLA, 18th, ranked 18th. Oregon State ranked 15th. I think that's going to be a really good game. Granted, I might not stay up for that one, but I'll definitely be sure to check that one in the morning because I think
Well,
that's
with your bonus play, you got to give us a pick, man. If you're going to give us if you're going to give us the game, you got to give us the pick.
Give me Oregon State.
Oregon
I don't
State
have
head to head.
I don't have the line, but
That's
I
fine.
think
We'll just make it a head to head. We'll make it a head to head
Oregon
bonus.
Line's
State.
3.5.
Okay.
So we'll just make that a head to head
Yeah.
bonus, and we'll get you George. So George's bonus is Kentucky, Missouri, and JT, your bonus is Oregon State over UCLA. Like that. UCLA, I think, surprised some people last week. They really, it helps anytime you get 4 turnovers, right? But I like the bonus picks. You guys got anything else, man? This has been fun, and we got a good slate. And like I said, JT, you're sitting. You need a little work. You're behind the 8 ball. You're at 54% on the season. 8 balls at 59, but George is at a commanding 68%. I think if you went to any casino and said you were going to win 68%, anybody would be following you around all night and capping your chips, right?
If I only could do this on my actual sports book, no telling how much money I'd be winning. But I always get there on Saturday, make my 14 parlay, and just don't take any of the picks I take on the show. And I'm just looking at myself like an idiot. I overthink it. So it's been fun. I'm enjoying this. It's awesome. Great slate this weekend.
Yeah, and next week and even a great slate too. And I don't want to oversell it yet, but it looks like, George, we may be in Tuscaloosa to do the show live from outside Bryant-Denny Stadium next Thursday.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
so
that'd be great.
But thanks a lot, guys. And JT, happy birthday, and
Thank
George,
you.
always a pleasure.
Birthday,
and you get a nice one more weekend of relaxation, right? Oh no, it's homecoming. You got the early game, homecoming, 11 a.m. You're gonna have to hop off that parade float pretty quick. So. Well, you guys have a great evening. It's always a pleasure talking to some college football with you. And like I said, any college students out there who want to get involved, go ahead and send us a direct message through Instagram at Game Day Sports Radio 1. And again, thanks to DraftKings for the lines and to Birmingham Landscape Design, our sponsor for today. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. It's good to talk to you, George and JT.
Thank you.
Great talking to you.